Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to share this Meaningful Monday with you. This is one of my great topics because this comes from one of my favorite books in the whole wide world, which is Think and Grow Rich. I've got about 3 copies of the book. This is just one that I'm putting in front of me here, but I've got an original copy, beautiful leather bound in black, which was actually a gift from Nancy, which is nice. And then I've got another copy of my own, which I've had for so many years that all the pages are falling out and the book's stuck together with sticky tape. Anyway, for the people who are very new to Meaningful Monday, I just want to say a very warm welcome. Thank you for joining. This is just a first Monday of every month free webinar, which I really encourage you to please join every Monday, first Monday of the month. I'd love you to join. Just have a different topic every single time. I try to vary them, that they're not ever on exactly the same theme. And we also share at the end what events are coming up if anyone's interested in joining any events. So if you don't know me, my name is Janine Shaka. I'm the Silver Method lead instructor and director for Australia and South Africa. And then I'm also a coach and I train other programs and masterminds. And I also am a senior consultant of investment property. So tonight, for the people, by the way, who've been here before, just very warm welcome back. I do love you all and really appreciate you taking the time to join and educate yourself. So I really honor you and I commend you for always investing time and energy in yourself. So tonight I'm really talking about something which is the first principle to Think and Grow Rich. However, it's not the first principle in the book. And this is why I wanted to put the subject on, because this is something that, as a coach, I see a lot of people having unnecessary failures, if I can use that word. Not that anything is a real failure unless you give up. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it could be a learning, but unnecessary failures because of this particular principle. And definitely on the property investing side, which I've been doing now for 8 years and being a property investor for just about all my life, since I worked for myself. Left school and started to work, sorry. I found that this particular principle I'm going to share with you tonight is the dividing line between those people who succeed in what they're trying to achieve. And, if they have goals in their life or dreams in their life, the ones that no matter what it takes, they'll eventually get there. And they might go through some ups and downs. We all do. That's normal. But they get there. Then you get another group of people who have regret, I would say, or they often wish they want to do something and they talk about it for years and years and years, and then they never actually do it. And it can be absolutely anything in life. So I find this principle one of enormous value. And the best thing about it is, it doesn't matter which group you fall into of those two groups of people, this is an absolute learnable skill or talent or quality in a person's character. It's a quality that we all can learn and we can apply. So even if we haven't been that successful or we think we could have done more in our lives, just think for yourself, who here thinks they could have done more in their lives than what they've already achieved? I can say, yes, I have. I wish I could have done more. That's what I'd say. If I had to ask the question, who thinks they could have done more? I'd put my hand up and say, yes, I could have done more in my life. If I knew the stuff that I know today when I left school, I know I would have made better decisions along the way for sure and got further in life. So to share this, which has come from years of experience and failures and overcoming them, and then getting hold of the book Think and Grow Rich and studying it, it was like, now I see what was holding me back. Now it makes sense. So I'm really here to share with you. I'm just going to let some more people in the room. Okay, so just to share a little bit, I don't know if anyone here has read the book Think and Grow Rich, but you might want to type in the chat box if you've read the book and if you liked it, if you thought anything of it. Like, what are your thoughts? Hi, Ron, and welcome. Hi. I'm going to put you on mute. I'm just going to grab my device here because it's making a noise. There we go. So if anyone has read the book Think and Grow Rich, Yeah, I tried to read it and not made much progress. I was exactly the same, Kirsty. I'll be honest with you. I tried to read the book about 5 or 6 times, and I could never finish it. I could never get even halfway. I'd leave it, get bored, I don't know, get frustrated somehow, and put it to the side. Ness is on her bedside table, and Sam says 30 years ago he read it, and he remembers it as being a good book. So why I never read it in my younger years, I really don't know, but I couldn't quite extract the value that the book had until I studied it. And that was when I joined my first mastermind on Think and Grow Rich in about 2012, 2013. And then from that year on, I did the mastermind with my mentor every single year. And then I started to run my own once I left corporate and work for myself. So just to share with you what Think and Grow Rich is, it's actually a philosophy, and it's based on 13 principles. And these 13 principles, the first time you study the book, they seem disjointed. They seem like different individual chapters, like the chapter on desire, the chapter on faith, the chapter on autosuggestion, the chapter on organized planning, or the chapter on persistence, if I haven't said that already, the chapter on the brain, another one on the sixth sense, another one on specialized knowledge, one on the mastermind, the power of the mastermind, one on the transmutation of sex energy, very interesting chapters, and they seem like they're different kinds of things we need to learn. But as you study the book, which I've done multiple times, what happens is eventually this philosophy of 13 different principles click together and they form one philosophy. And the minute that happens, you kind of have drawn them all towards yourself, and you almost have kind of a habit of behavior of the way you think and the way you behave because of the influence of this book. And I have to say, I think Think and Grow Rich is one of the best person development books in the world. It's written in 1938. It stood the test of time. Yes, some of the examples might be outdated, but the actual content and the teaching is absolutely timeless and a wonderful book. So I'm just going a bit long on the intro here because the book sequence of chapters is absolutely perfect. It's stunning. It's amazing. And the first chapter, which is the first principle in the book, is desire. Now, I'm not talking about desire tonight. So I've actually titled Meaningful Monday, the first principle to think and grow rich, but I don't mean it's the first principle in the book. And I'll tell you why. This principle that I'm going to share with you, if you've got kids or nephews or grandkids or anyone younger in your life than yourself, I'll ask you to just put your hand on your own heart and make a promise to yourself that this week, this very week, you will sit down with that young individual and you will discuss this topic with them, and you'll discuss it in such a way that you want to impress this upon them as a teaching point to last for the rest of their lives, because it is this principle that distinguishes between success and failure. It's this principle, and it's not the first principle in the book, which is desire. It's not that. So let me get into it. Think and Grow Rich, if you just take the title, it's misleading. Now, I think it's a great title for when the book was released, because in 1938, the world was in a massive financial turmoil and bad state. If you know that the great stock market crash, the Great Depression, was in 1929, and everyone was struggling financially unless you were the very, very, very few. So when the book came out, it was a huge success because everybody wanted to know how to make money and get their livelihood back on track. So Think and Grow Rich just sold. But the book's title doesn't mean think and grow rich financially. Yes, that is the bonus you get if you study the book. But it's actually this. It's think as in change the way you think. Actually change your thought process and your thought mapping in the brain. The way of doing it, the old paradigm way, has to go, and you have to adopt a new way of thinking. So the book not forces a person, but it really helps you to engage in a new way of thinking. It's first think. Then if you change the way you think, your personal growth will go off the chart. So when you think differently, you grow, and it's personal growth. And if you grow personally, that's the only guarantee that tomorrow in your life will be better than today. The only guarantee that tomorrow will be better is if you're growing today. And then the rich one is actually spiritual richness. So the book is sold, people thinking it's all about material, money, and wealth, which the book starts off talking about riches and money, and it's all that. But as the book progresses and you get to the third of the book, you think, oh, this is interesting. He's talking more about faith and words like infinite intelligence. So it's getting towards the spiritual realm. And as you get halfway, you'll think, oh, this is more about that. And when you get to the end of the book, it's absolutely that. When you're doing the chapters like on the sixth sense and ideas that come to help us get whatever goal that we want, where do these ideas come from? They come from some higher source, through the sixth sense, through training the brain to have absolute faith, faith in your purpose, faith in your goal, faith in yourself, and faith in infinite intelligence, a higher power as well. So, sorry, if anyone's got their microphones on, there's some sound in the background. If you don't mind, just putting yourself on mute. Otherwise, I'll mute everyone, but you can do it yourself. It's much easier. So in that, saying the book is Think and Grow Rich, it's actually, by the time you've really studied it and had discussion on it and dissected it, you will know that it's a spiritual growth book that will give you everything you need to create anything you want in your life. And if that's material riches that you want, absolutely that, definitely yes as well. And if anyone's got a problem with money, riches, all I can say is you have some limiting belief there, because our creator is abundant. This universe is abundant. Source energy is abundant in every aspect, everywhere. Air is abundant. Nature is abundant. Space is abundant. It's just, there's actually infinite everything. There's infinite blades of grass. There's infinite breaths of air you can take. There's infinite grains of sand on the sea. There's infinite, universe is full of galaxies and, amazing. They just say that they actually don't know how many galaxies there are. People thought they did, and now they claim it's infinite. They claim that the energy in the entire quantum field, or this matrix of energy, is infinite. So if everything is abundant, then so are we. Our birthright is abundance too. Anything short of that is a limiting belief. So let's just talk about money, because this is what the book's purpose is in being written. However, I have to say the book is definitely a personal growth book to make you better in every way. There's even a huge section in the book on leadership. It's not a chapter title, but there's a whole lot of leadership in there where you've got to score yourself on an inventory of your leadership qualities. And it really, if a person studies this book, you will root out all the bad habits in your life and start to become a better and better human being. So I just thought I'll start off the presentation saying, imagine having financial freedom, affording amazing, holidays that you never have to think of where you want to go and how you want to travel. You can just do it because you are that financially free and financially independent. Or having investment properties which give you great passive income, and over time you grow your property portfolio, that actually gives you your income, and anything that you do after that is because you do it out of real love and passion. And throughout all of this, also being a gift to the world in how you serve, whether it's you serving that with your talent or your money, any which way that suits you. So this is what people can imagine, and I've imagined this for myself. Throughout my life, I've imagined it. Then it may be so, and if it is so for you, I'm very happy for you and God bless you. And if it's not so for you, then if we have a look sometimes at ourselves and we become really honest with ourselves, we don't achieve the success that we want to achieve because we uncover fear. We have some subconscious fear. We might even not know what that is, but there's always this hesitancy, this indecision, this holding us back in somehow, or we have a lack of willpower. So we don't take action towards the things we promise ourselves we're going to do, knowing that if we do those things, they will take us closer to our success, to our dreams, to having all that amazing life, financial freedom. So we get into this thing called financial stuckness. So I don't know if anyone can relate. Just type an S in the chat box for stuckness if you can relate to what I'm saying. Anyone? Just put an S in the chat box if you can relate. Have you ever, okay, there's already two there, where you've got fear, you don't even know where they're from. You've got lack of willpower, so you don't go towards your dreams, and you don't get where you want to get financially, and you find that it's always this kind of glass ceiling you just wish would break so you can actually get that life that you dream of. Okay, there's a lot here. There's a whole lot of S's. Please don't put in the S to please me, hey? Just put them in because they're really real for you. Just have to say that. Keep it real for yourself. So this that I'm going to talk about tonight, this first principle in the book is, as I said, it's not the first chapter, which is desire. It's another one. So we're going to get there. Now I want you to tell me some of these answers. What are the signs of financial stuckness? How do you behave? What's going on in you emotionally, or when you relate to people or things like that in your life? What are some signs of financial stuckness? Anybody? You can type it in the chat if you like, or you can talk out loud if it's easier. Stressed out, thank you. Not spending money, yes. Disbelief, yes. And I think when you say disbelief, it might even be losing belief in your plans or yourself even. Anything else? Definitely stressed out. That leads into all kinds of things. Here's another person just joined. Overwhelm, thank you. Not getting ahead financially, 100%. Feeling that you can't spend more. Yeah, not a nice feeling. Exhaustion, thank you. And being lethargic. Yes, we get lethargic and exhausted because of the stress, and we feel weighted down. We feel overwhelmed. Yes, thank you, Karen. Disappointment in oneself. That's really not a nice place to be. And it actually makes me saddened to think, anyone who says that they're disappointed in themselves, because it's a you and you deal, and that's the worst person we want to disappoint is really ourselves. Saying no. Vicky, I'm going to remember your comment because I'm going to bring it up later in the end as a major teaching point. But saying no to invitations is absolutely a sign of financial stuckness. And invitations may mean opportunities to get you further financially. So I don't know if that's what you meant, Vicky, but that's absolutely what saying no to invitations means. And even if it's an invitation to a social evening where you can increase your social circle, meet maybe some other like-minded people or people who could help you to, give you an idea that might lead you on the path to where you want to go. We've got anxiety. I get overly controlling. Of course, we get overly controlling. Thank you, Vanessa, for saying that. Because when we feel in some area of our life out of control, then we do become overly controlling because we're trying to find a way to get that feeling of control back in our lives. Everybody wants a sense of control. We don't want to be controlling, but we do want a sense of control. And financial prosperity allows us to feel in control. Can you relate to that? I mean, that's certainly my view of it. I feel more in control when I know there's more money, and when there's no money, I feel out of control. So these signs of financial stuckness, it causes stress. So those who said that is correct. So fear, absolutely. That's all the anxiety and the stress you're talking about. It also causes resentment. And we can resent all kinds of things. I'm not going to go into it, but you can think for yourself. And there's not enough money, there's resentment, whether it's to someone, something, whatever. There's shame and there's anger. I'm just going to mute a mic here. And it could be anger towards yourself. Definitely anxiety we spoke about, even fogginess. When we're financially stuck, we can't think, we can't make proper decisions. We are indecisive as well because of our mental fogginess. And then if it's a serious case of financial stuckness, we can even have feelings of despair. And then bad decisions. So bad decisions is definitely, hi Caroline, and welcome. I just saw you now. Bad decisions is definitely a consequence of being stressed out and financially stuck. And the bad thing about that is it can put you in a further and worse place than you were before. And also bad relationships. You can get into wrong relationships when you're in the wrong state of mind. So everything's about our mind, okay? All right, so financial stuckness. So here we come. Let me ask you here. The answer came on the next slide. The answer to this, the principle I'm looking for, some of you have seen the next slide and you've got the answer, but just guess. If you got the guess or you saw the answer already, go ahead. What do you think is the principle that I'm going to be talking about? That's really, I believe, the first principle to thinking differently and personal growth and getting rich in every area of your life. Rich in your spirituality, your relationships, of course, your money, and just your happiness and joy and success. Any guesses? Type in the chat or say it out loud. What do you think we are missing? Any guesses?
Faith.
Faith. The principle I'm talking about will give you the faith. It's not faith itself, but it'll give you the faith. Confidence, willingness to change. Nice. Confidence, willingness to change. Definitely willingness to change. That's a prerequisite for actually applying the principle I'm talking about. It's not the principle itself. Belief. That's similar to what Paul said about faith. It's not belief or faith, but this principle will give you the faith you need and the connection to the subconscious mind. Over repetition of this principle, you'll connect to the subconscious mind, but it's not that one. Gratitude. Well, I love gratitude. It's not in this book actually, but it is definitely an important principle that does make money as well. It's actually a chapter in another book called The Science of Getting Rich. It's massive about gratitude. So gratitude is correct, and forgiveness is a principle in the epilogue to Think and Grow Rich, but it's not the one I'm looking for. This I call the first principle because if you go and get this one right, believing. No, someone said that it's not believing, but you do need this to believe. Okay, you've guessed a lot. I'm actually glad that you haven't guessed it right because it means that my Meaningful Monday has value and imagination. No, but that is a principle in the book. So I'm so glad that you're all sitting here at the edge of your seat. I'm hoping to find the answer. So awareness, no, Lauren, it's not awareness, but we do need awareness. We do need intuition, but it's not that one either. I love all the guessing. It's like an auction here, you know. Next one, going once, going twice. All right. So the answer is persistence. Ah, Karen wrote it. That's intuition. You just read my mind. So persistence. The first step to achieving unstuckness is to persist. I saw it. Ah, that's okay. Thank you for being honest. Hey, why does my own hand go up? Look at that. Let me just find my way to bring my hand down. Lower hand. Okay, I don't know who put it up. Okay, so the first step to achieving financial unstuckness is to persist. So persistence is the essential factor to producing your riches. This is why I said if you know any children or teenagers in your life, please promise yourself, hand on heart, you will teach them a lesson on persistence this week. This distinguishes failures from successful people. It's this, and it's the most important thing. So the basis of persistence is the power of will, our willpower. And willpower can be developed. That's why I said no one is a victim of circumstance. Everyone can change. And even if you think you've got poor willpower or you don't really have much persistence in your life, you can change that. All it takes is some other person wrote in the chat, awareness, whoever you were. That's golden because the first step is awareness. So if you mix persistence with desire, you have two unstoppable forces. The very first principle in the book, of the first chapter, is desire. Okay. Then there's faith. Then there's auto-suggestion, which is impressing the subconscious. Then there's specialized knowledge. Then there's imagination. Somebody mentioned that. Then there's organized planning. Then there's decision. Someone also mentioned poor decisions when we're financially stuck. And then comes the chapter on persistence in the book. So it's way down there, number 8. And I'm saying, no, it's the first principle to Think and Grow Rich. because if you can't persist and you can't develop persistence, the rest doesn't actually matter. You may as well not start studying everything else, because if you're not going to persist, you actually won't get the distance that you need to achieve that you want. I hope that makes sense. So, why persist? Okay, persistence allows you to never quit and therefore definitely become successful. So the book even says, winners never quit and quitters never win. If you write something down for those kids you want to teach this lesson to, write this quote down, they'll remember it. Winners never quit and quitters never win. Because failure just means that you quit. It means that something's gone wrong and you said, that's it, I'm not doing that again. So in that case, it is a failure. But if you said this, okay, that didn't work. What can I learn from that? What did it teach me? Okay, I learned some lesson. All right. If I applied that lesson in my life, would I improve, yes or no? If you learn something, the answer is yes. Yes, you will improve. Well, if you've got some lesson that will improve your life or improve the way you do anything, it's valuable. So you turn your failures into something of value. So that is why persistence means you get up and go again. It's insurance. The book uses the word insurance. When I read that in the chapter on persistence, a light bulb went on in my head, because I am a kind of person who would pay any price to have insurance against failure. Wouldn't you? I just would love to be insured against failure, that no matter what happens, I'm going to be caught by some safety net. Well, this is the safety net. You might think it's not, but it actually is. It's insurance against failure. Persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. So all those people, I just remember, Paul, you mentioned faith, someone else mentioned belief. That's kind of the same thing. In the beginning of the chapter on persistence, I just want to grab the book here. It says that exact line. Let me just find it. Persistence. The subtitle of the chapter is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith, the 8th step towards riches. So the word effort here is something that's in our reach. For us to be persistent, it's up to us to put in that effort. All you got to do is do that consistently, and what will happen is it's just a matter of time, and you will immediately have faith in this goal that you're trying to achieve and start to believe with 100% faith that you will attain it. And we need faith to manifest any goal. So for those of you who've done the Silver Method, you'll know that the steps are desire, belief, and expectancy. And desire plus belief plus expectancy is faith. But you have to induce faith. And the only way to induce faith is to persist. Also, persistence means you will achieve your goal. It means that you will win. Now, I'm just going to read a quote that's on my wall here in my office. It's Henry David Thoreau. It's one of my favorite quotes. It says, "He who advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors means persists. Okay, endeavors, never giving up. Endeavors to live the life which he has imagined. He will meet with success unexpected in common hours." Doesn't say he might meet with success, or hopefully if he's a good guy, he's going to meet with success, or, a lucky lady. No, you will. So persistence means that you will achieve your goal. And if you take that and that line only out of the whole presentation, it's enough. Because this is the teaching point. This is the bottom line. If you persist, you will win. Persistence also ensures that you take continuous action towards a definite plan. I don't know about you, but I know many people who've had plans and plans and plans. And they've had plans sometimes for years. They've either never taken action toward their plan, or they've taken some action toward their plan. It hasn't quite given them the promise they wanted, and they just quit that plan. Got a different plan, whatever it may be. When you've got persistence, you have a plan and you go for it. Also, it's a state of mind, which means you can cultivate it. And I love that about persistence. Every single person can get better at persistence, no matter how you see yourself, even if you're the extreme side of the spectrum and you say, I've got no willpower, I've tried, but no. Even a person like that. Persistence is required if you need, or sorry, when you need to apply all 13 principles of the book. Now, all I can say is millions and millions of people have read Think and Grow Rich. Many millions. So many I wouldn't be able to count. But not millions and millions of people have got rich. Any guesses why? If millions have read the book, why haven't they become rich?
They haven't persisted.
You spot on. There's nothing more to really say. Paul said it all. Janine, can you please type that quote up as a slide? Which quote was that, Paul? Winners never quit and quitters never win.
No, the one that you've got up on your wall.
Oh, yeah, sure. Can I put it in the chat box?
If you've got it as a slide, then we can all access it on the replay.
On the webinar?
Yeah.
Sure. If you give me a second. Whoops. Can you see my screen? Or not?
No, we can just see you.
Oh, you can just see me. Okay. I'll get it going in a second. Let me just put it here. Let me just give you back the presentation. Thank you for your patience. So, he who advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life he has imagined will meet with success unexpected in common hours. And that's Henry David Thoreau. Okay, so thanks for asking, Paul. So he who advances, so all you got to do is take the next step. You don't have to know the whole route, the whole plan, the whole, even just take the next step, just keep going in the direction. So it means that you're not taken off course, you're just staying towards your ultimate goal. Remember, you can keep the goal. Don't change the goal. You may change the plan, but never change the goal. What people do in life, they have a goal, they fail to meet it, and then they change the goal. They downgrade the goal, especially with money. Oh, I have this goal to make $500,000 a year. Then they don't make it. They do it for 1 week, they don't make it. And they go, okay, I now aim for $300,000 a year. No, change the plan, not the goal. So here we go again. He who advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors, that's the word, that's persistence, endeavors to live the life he has imagined. So you've got to imagine it in your mind. That's why imagination is one of the success principles in Think and Grow Rich. And if you do that, you will, absolutely will, meet with success unexpected in common hours. All right, let's get back to the presentation. Let me just delete that. Okay. Okay. So we need persistence to apply the 13 principles of the book. What happens is people read the book and there's a lot to apply here. If I tell you that Think and Grow Rich is a book you have to study for a lifetime. If anyone is a fan of Bob Proctor, I am a major big fan of Bob Proctor. I really have a lot of respect for him. And he said that he read, even if it's a couple of pages, but he read Think and Grow Rich every day of his life from the day he first got handed the book. It was for decades, not just a few years, decades. I think it was 40 years, if I'm correct. And my mentor, who I first did Think and Grow Rich with as a mastermind, his name's Paul Martinelli. He's a multimillionaire today, guy rags from riches he was. He also reads this book every day, even if it's just a chapter, but every day of his life. Why? Because it's not that easy to just read 13 principles and with all the content in there and just change overnight and apply everything. It takes repetition and repetition and repetition until those 13 principles, as I said, click together as one philosophy. And through repetition of reading it, all these changes we must make in ourselves, the personal growth we need to go through, becomes a habit, a fixed habit. The word fixed habit is in this book, I kid you not, definitely written more than 100 times, maybe even more than that. And that's why it's required to apply the 13 principles. I just want to quickly mention this because it's fun and it's life-changing, all I can say. When I first did the mastermind with my mentor on Think and Grow Rich, before the mastermind started or any time, the minute you knew that you were going to do it, let's say you booked a month in advance, whenever it was, the first thing you had to do was read the chapter on persistence every day without missing a day for 14 days in a row. So now today, I've been running Think and Grow Rich as a mastermind definitely since 2017, maybe 18. So that's, 5 years now, maybe 6. And some years, in the early years, I ran it like 2 to 3 times a year. With me as well, if you join the mastermind, one of the exercises, where it doesn't matter when you start when you've booked in, or you start once you've started the mastermind, anytime, because it goes on for several weeks, 8 weeks, anytime. You need to read the chapter on persistence 14 days in a row without missing a day. If you miss a day, what then? You've got to go back to 0. Because if you miss a day, it's evidence that you haven't persisted. And what better way to learn the lesson on persistence than starting the friggin' challenge from day 0, when you want to bang yourself like me on the head, especially after doing, I promise you, the 1 year, I kid you not, I missed reading it on day 13. I was so annoyed with myself, but I promise you, I never did that again, because I had to go back to 0, and it's a long chapter. It takes, you've got to at least cut out 30 to 40 minutes a day to read this, and you can't do it on audio. That's not allowed. You have to sit and read it, and you can't skim read it. You have to read it properly. If you could read it out loud, that's the best option. And every single person who does the challenge tells me, I cannot thank you, Janine. This has changed my life. Because the chapter on persistence has got like 17 causes of failure. It's got the formula for persistence. It tells you how to become a person of persistence. It gives you so many amazing stories of people who failed and failed again. So many times, if it was you and I, we'd probably give up. These people didn't. And when they got finally the breakthrough that they wanted, they just shot off through the stars. And they may be old stories, but they are valuable still today. So I just wanted to share that, because that is definitely an amazing way. And that's why I say it's the first principle. And it's actually a great chapter to start the mastermind with. So even though we do go in sequential order, person has to jump to chapter 8, read it 14 times every day for 14 days. It'll change a person's mind, and it's very, very valuable. So can you train yourself to be persistent? As I said, yes, of course you can. It's a state of mind, so it can be cultivated. And persistence is based on definite causes. Amongst these are these things. The first one is definiteness of purpose. Knowing what you want, and of course, why you want it. You may say that's obvious. Do you know how many people do not know what they really want? You've got to ask them, what do you really, really want in life? Did you know that if you asked that to an audience of 100 people, 98 would not be able to answer you? So it means only 2% of the population of the world know clearly and exactly what it is that they want. So I'm sharing something with you. If you want to make notes, please make notes. Work out what it is that you want. Sit down with a pen and paper and write it out. Because in our mind, it's like, yeah, it's kind of this and it's a bit of that. And I think that would be nice. But when you put pen to paper, it cannot lie. You either know what you want, or you don't really know what you want. And that's okay. If you don't really know what you want, that's okay. At least you have awareness now. that you don't really know what you want, but then you can work on it. And every day you say to yourself, what is it that I really want? What do I really want? And then go back to your paper and write it down, write it down, write it down, until you can have like kind of a vision statement for yourself that you know. So that's the first one. The next one is desire. That's absolutely the first principle in the Silver Method: desire, belief, and expectancy. So when it comes to desire, it's not enough that you really like, I want this thing. You got to have a burning desire. And a burning desire means an absolute burning desire. It's something that you think about all the time. The only other example of a burning desire I can give you is if you've ever fallen in love, which I'm sure everyone here has at some stage in their life. That was a burning desire to see that person. You wanted to be there with that person. All the time spent with them was treasured. It was valuable. It was wonderful. That's what we need for our goal. And why did Napoleon Hill make a whole chapter of it? Well, because it's another principle that is a state of mind, again, that can be cultivated. I have people I coach, and sometimes when it comes to a goal that they've battled to achieve or struggle, they say to me, I don't really know if I have enough desire, because I ask them. And then they think, well, maybe they'll never get the goal because they lack desire. But do they really want it? Yes. You need to have more desire? Yes, they do. Well, it's okay. Again, it's something that we have in our control is desire. We cultivate desire. So that's a whole chapter, and it tells you how to do that. All right. Self-reliance is another one. To train yourself to be persistent. When someone said belief in themselves or belief, it was earlier in the chat when you were guessing. Definitely belief in one's ability to carry out a plan. So when you persist, and with repetition, your subconscious keeps score of every time you persist. Doesn't matter how small the thing is, you just persist. It keeps score, and it says, I believe in your ability to carry out a plan. I believe in your ability to carry out a plan. I believe in your ability. And eventually you start developing kind of a rock solid belief in yourself and your ability to carry out any plan, even if the plan is, I want to go to gym 4 times a week, or I want to eat healthy, or whatever it may be. And that gives you this feeling of self-reliance. Self-reliant people have got a lot more confidence. So whoever wrote confidence in the chat earlier, that's the answer to getting more confidence in yourself that you can achieve what you want. The next one's an organized plan. Okay, that's a whole chapter in the book. I won't go into that now, but this is where the mind gets heated, working out a plan on how to get you from where you are towards your goal. And the power of this exercise to get the plan, the power in it is unspeakable. I cannot describe it in enough words, because when you write that out, you write it in 2 places, on the paper with your pen, and you write it into your subconscious mind. So if you do have a plan in your life for anything, if you wrote it out from fresh, just every now and then, the power in that, I guarantee you will achieve that thing. You absolutely will. So that's another one. The 5th one is accurate knowledge. So knowledge just means that you know that your plans are sound because you've had enough experience, read enough about it, done enough research, whatever it may be, asked enough people, gone to find specialized knowledge. You don't have to have the knowledge. You need to find a specialist. The same as myself. Before I became a property consultant, I was an investor, and I made a bad decision buying my first investment property in Australia. The next time I bought it from the company that I now sell for, 2020 Property Advisory, and as a client of theirs, they are a research-based company, so they gave me the knowledge. There's accurate knowledge. They gave me the knowledge and the research. So I thought, this person's plans are sound. I know this property is going to grow over the next 3 to 5 years because of the accurate knowledge. So remember, the knowledge doesn't have to be mine or yours. You just have to know an expert who has the knowledge. And that's the beauty of any goal you want to achieve, because you don't have to have the specialized knowledge. Henry Ford, my friends, could not build a car. I don't know if you know that. Steve Jobs could not build an iPhone. I don't know if you know that. He just hired specialized knowledge, but he had a vision in his head. He knew what he wanted. So really important that accurate knowledge doesn't have to be in your own head, but it helps with persistence, because we can get anywhere we want to get. Just find the right person. This is interesting cooperation with others. It's really about being a people's person with good relationships with everyone, having a nice, harmonious relationship, not being a grumpy, bitter person. And the interesting thing is, in the book Think and Grow Rich, there are many self-inventories or self-questionnaires that the book asks you to do. And if you do them, you will really, really illuminate the areas of yourself, your character that can be improved, your leadership, for example. And there's a whole lot about your relationship with people and how well you cooperate with people. Are you a people's person? Do you get on well with others? Leadership, which is really influence, depends on a person's skill and ability to add value to others and cooperate well with people. You can't be a leader if you lack this trait of number 6. So again, it helps you get further. Then number 7, again, it is the chapter itself, willpower. So willpower is one of our faculties of our mind, the faculty of will, and it can be developed. And then last but not least is habit. So persistence is really a direct result of habit. So it's funny, you need persistence to make persistence a habit. And once persistence is a habit, well, then you've naturally got persistence. That might sound very confusing, but it's kind of a loop. So persistence creates a habit, and the habit makes you persistent. And the more you persist, the more you enforce the habit, and you go round and round. All you can do is get stronger and stronger. So this is really how you can train yourself to become persistent. And that all comes from the book itself. Now, I want to tell you something interesting. Take your own persistence as an inventory. There are 16 of these in the book. I'm just going to share with you a couple of them. But have a look at these. Napoleon Hill says, these are weaknesses that must be mastered by all who achieve riches or success. So just rate yourself. Failure to define clearly what you want. Procrastination. Indecision. This is so important that one of the 13 principles is decision. It's massive. And when you read the chapter on decision, it'll change your viewpoint of decision for the rest of your life. It certainly changed mine. I used to be a person a little bit slow on making decisions sometimes, I'll be honest. Sometimes change them, went back and forth. When I read that successful people make decisions quickly and they stick to them, so in other words, they commit. I've actually written the words here on a piece of paper on my desk. If I can show you, I just wrote it yesterday. I commit. I just wrote that towards something in my head. And once I wrote it down, I thought, that's it. And that's just decision. And Napoleon Hill says, unsuccessful people take a long time to make decisions and change them frequently. Here's another weakness, excuses. This has to be eradicated from our lives. Ever make excuse. Just take 100% responsibility, own it, and just improve yourself. The next one is weakness of desire. We've discussed that. Blaming others for one's mistakes. That's like the victim mentality. To become successful, we need to take 100% responsibility for everything in our lives, including the quality of all our relationships. If we put 50% on someone and 50% on us, we won't really do the best for that relationship. We need to take 100%. And them, yeah, they also 100%. But let's say they don't. You take 100% and you'll see you'll improve that relationship. Thanks, Ron. No problem. It's recorded, Ron, if you want to watch the end. Okay, blaming others for one's mistakes. Quitting, of course. That's what persistence is. Fear of criticism. What will people think? This is a big deal. And then failure to create plans and put them into action. Again, comes to plans and comes to action. 10, the habit of neglecting to move on ideas. That's hesitancy. That's procrastination. That's I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not going to do it now. It's that feeling maybe you're overwhelmed and you can't make the decision, or hitting a terror barrier and being confused. But it's a habit. It's a habit. It's not just something that's unique. It's something that if you do that once, you'd probably do it in many areas of your life. Or the habit to not only neglect moving on ideas, but not to grasp opportunities when they present itself. You know how many people I know have looked at amazing opportunities, and I can say this because of the property stuff that I do. but they hesitate. They don't move on. And then maybe the property gets sold, or they get too fearful and they step away. And that opportunity that they had, I don't know, a year, 2, 3 years later, would have made them an extra 100,000, maybe 150,000. And even if they know that, they somehow struggle to make the decision even a second time because they have this as a habit. So when Napoleon Hill puts this inventory in the book, we actually have to go through the whole list of 16 and rate ourselves. And I had to ask myself these questions. I mean, how much I've learned. Do I have the habit, I ask myself, to neglect moving on ideas sometimes? Yes, I still do to this day. To change my IT platform from one to the other. Taken ages because I'm afraid that if I make a mistake, the whole thing's going to go, down the drain or something. So the risks involved, the benefits involved, we all have this. But when we look at ourselves critically, this neglect is a habit, because in all of John Maxwell's books, who is the leadership author, I've just finished a mastermind last week on developing the leader within you. He says, just take action. It's fine if you fail. You're going to learn from it. You're going to find out what you can improve from it, and then you're going to re-enter. And that's how you get better and stronger. So you literally fail your way to success. Failures are not failures unless you give up. They're learning. They ways to make you better and stronger. So then I thought to myself, okay, stop wasting time and not moving on ideas. Just take action, because even if it's not the perfect solution, at least we move forward and we learn a whole lot. And when we come back stronger, smarter, wiser, and better than before. So I don't know if you can relate to any of these, but I want to share with you a quick story. So these are photos of my mother. And in 2019, I was doing 2018, 19, somewhere there. I support my mother, and she moved from South Africa to Australia, and she moved to a certain place in Castle Hill. And I have to look after her financially. And I just felt that and I work for myself. So I never had a fixed salary. My income, varies because I work for myself. And I just found myself at some months being like stressed financially. I have to pay for her rent, all her food, her petrol, her car, her everything, and for my own. And after doing this for, like 2 to 3 years, I thought, come on, I've got to manifest some solution in my life to take care of this looking after my mother responsibility. And as I put that thought in my head, I thought there's got to be some solution. And I kid you not, as I put the thought in my head, within that very week, for the very first time at the property office, Mike Anderson owns 2020 Property Advisory, where I'm a senior consultant and sell for them. And I was a client before. We're in the office. I've been working there for several years. We've had all kinds of properties, from townhouses, house and land packages, small ones, big ones. For the first time, we had dual key. So basically, it's one with a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom on a Torrance title. And when he said, the price is 750,000, but the rent is 840 to 1,050 a week, I thought, I just took a calculator, I started working out some numbers, and I thought, that's the solution. If I can buy this property, the rental income will take care of my mother. So I started the process, and then everything that could possibly go wrong, so please hear me. I'm in property, I'm an estate agent, I've been an investor for years, I really know about, buying a property. If I tell you, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I mean everything. So the loan documents went wrong, the valuation went wrong, they redid the valuation and the new valuer went out and then wrote something incorrect on the documents saying it's a split contract. It wasn't a split contract. The banks wouldn't approve split contracts. It came back. Then they said, well, use the old val. When I said they use, eventually it was just a mess. I'm not exaggerating when I say to you 4 months. 4 months, the poor developer, after the expression of interest, was waiting for me to get sorted, to pay the deposit and, commit. And if it wasn't that I was working for 2020 and we had a relationship with the developer, if it was any other client, I'm sure they would have charged penalties or pulled the plug and sold it to someone else. But because it was me, they said, okay, what's going on? And it was legitimate mistakes. Every person I told this story to said to me, Janine, don't you think the universe is trying to tell you something? Don't you think the universe is trying to tell you something? And I started to believe it. And I thought, maybe I'm not meant to get this property. But then my mind kept going back to the day when I said, I need a solution to pay for my mother. And this presented itself in that very week. And I knew this is still, out of all investment properties that we've had come into stock for us, this was definitely the best in terms of the return. So as everyone's saying to me that this is not going to work, the universe is saying something to you, and I was about to pull the plug, I was literally in the middle of a mastermind on Think and Grow Rich, and I was in the challenge, I do it myself, of reading the chapter on persistence every day for 14 days. And I'd read it before. I've done this mastermind multiple times. It's not like the first time I'm reading the chapter on persistence. It's maybe the 20th or 30th time in my life that I've read it. And I came across these 2 clauses in the book. These are the 16 causes of failure. This is number 7. Indifference, usually reflected in one's readiness to compromise on all occasions rather than meet opposition and fight it. And then I read the next line. The habit of blaming others for one's mistakes and accepting unfavorable circumstances as being unavoidable. There I was. I first of all blamed the broker because he made a mistake. Then I blamed the valuation company because they did make a mistake. Then the next valuation company, and I was blaming everyone. I was saying, it's just the freaking circumstance. Everything is against me. But when I saw these 2 lines in the book, I just suddenly had like a light bulb go on. And I realized I was getting fatigued after 4 months of trying to get this loan approved. I'd lost energy on it. It was draining my energy. And I thought, no, this chapter is saying you must fight it. You mustn't take opposition and just be ready to give up. It was 8:30 at night. I picked up my phone. I dialed my broker. And I said to him, John, please, I must have this property. What do I need to do to get this loan approved? But we've been going around in circles for 4 months. I must have this loan. What do I need to do? And he said, look, Janine, to be honest with you, start the process from scratch with another broker. Go to a different lender completely because CBA, even though it's gone, it escalated up to the regional manager of New South Wales. They weren't prepared to sort things out and, whatever. Start again. So I did. And I went to a broker who approved Pearlie, who works in the property office, bought the same one. And she got her loan done through BOQ. Anyway, I called her broker and I got the loan. Hear this. In 2 days. In 2 days, I got it. Now, I'm telling you the story because I was about to give up and it went on for 4 months and everything was against me. And by the way, just something to add, the valuation came in low. I was the only one in the whole development of 13 on the front. It's against the water. There's 13 of them there. I'm the only one whose valuation came in 50,000 under, which means I had to put an extra 50,000 in if I wanted to complete. So even that went against me. Somebody else might have pulled out. But because of these 2 lines in Think and Grow Rich, I took it to heart and I took action and I did it. Okay, I proceeded. And I just want to tell you, at the end of it, when I used the calculator to work out how I'm going to have enough money to support my mom, by the time the property was built and settled, the rent and how much the mortgage was and all that, it actually gave me 3 times what I thought it would give me. This today is still my best investment property in terms of the return, the rental yield. It's the best one. When I tell people how much rent I'm getting from this property, they're like saying, what? And I take it back to this was the greatest learning of the principle of persistence in my own life. And it took me how many years to actually really let the lesson sink in, because I'd done this mastermind many, many times. But until I was really pushed up with my back against a wall, expecting to throw in the towel on something that I thought I wanted because it made sense, it was the correct plan to help to sustain my mom, and I was about to give up on the thing that I knew was going to work. And I thought, no, you're not giving up. Quitters don't win. Don't quit. The minute my mind changed in a flash like that, as I said, I got the loan from some other bank in 2 days. So just a really good lesson. I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so without persistence, you will be defeated even before you start. But with persistence, you will win. So fear of criticism, just to add, is the second reason why people don't succeed. And this is something we have to get rid of. This is an absolute must in your life. Think about if you ever worried about what people think of you, and just say, somehow, some way, I'm not going to care anymore about what other people think, because none of our business what other people think. But it says here, family, friends, relatives, partners, co-workers, men, women, young or old, have refused to take chances in business and education because they fear the criticism which will follow if they fail. So how many things in life we don't go after because we're afraid? Either we're afraid of what people think of us if we don't do what we think they want us to do, or we think we're going to fail and they'll criticize us or think less of us. This has to be eradicated. So at the back of Think and Grow Rich, this is not one of the 13 chapters, it's an extra bonus chapter. It's called The 6 Ghosts of Fear, and it deals with all our greatest fears. And the greatest fear is the fear of criticism and the fear of poverty. And the book gives you a solution on how to eradicate that. And that's what is a necessary requirement to succeed. And the fear of criticism in such cases is stronger than the desire to succeed. So really a big lesson. When we talk about persistence, I love this quote. A river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Rock is so strong and hard, and water is so soft. But with persistence, it cuts the rock. So really, great analogy. Just some quick testimonial about Think and Grow Rich. I'm just sharing this with you because I am running a mastermind. So if any of you want to join, this is an opportunity for you. The Think and Grow Rich mastermind, she said, has been amazing. It changed my mindset in many positive ways. The book itself should be read several times as it's very rich in its content, and you learn the importance of persistence to achieve your goals in life. For this reason, I've decided to do it twice. This lady, Alejandra, actually did the mastermind, if I'm correct, 4 times. She now has moved to Argentina. But I've had several people who've done the mastermind 3 times, 4 times over, because the book in some particular chapter says, study the book 3 times over, then you will not want to stop. It actually says that. And it's true, because the first time you read it, there's a lot of content in there. But the second time, it starts to sink in easier. The third time you go, now the philosophy clicks together. It's just one philosophy. I get it now. So that's why. Just want to share that. Anyway, making progress. From the moment you decide that you're willing to change to improve your life, the process can and will work for you. That's why decision is a chapter in Think and Grow Rich. So think about your own life and anything that you want. It's taking the decision. From the decision, it's the willingness to be different in the future, to change something about you in the future. And then, of course, take action. We must take action. This whole thing about hesitance and procrastination is one of the greatest causes of failure. And then there's always this transitional period that tests you and will test your persistence. Same as me with that property to get my mom supported financially. It did test me. There's no doubt about it. But then we persist. We never quit. We get back onto it. And this is the journey, and it never, ever ends. It's forever unfolding. And what it really is, it's conquering ourselves, overwriting our old bad habits, our limiting beliefs. Everything we want to do, we want to pull out of something or quit. But if we don't, and we keep conquering ourselves and getting better and better over time, I can tell you, my friends, no matter what it is that you want to do, you will win. You will. So how to get rich? Well, first of all, money is a mindset. I've just done a course last week, actually. It was called Way of the Wealthy. And it's all about mindset. And the teacher said, when people think about wealth and passive income to sustain them in their retirement, some people don't have any. Some people have it that they have to downgrade their lifestyle. And then some people have it, they can keep their lifestyle. And then the highest category is some actually get more passive income in their retirement than they did when they were working. So they actually get richer and richer over time. And he said that you think about the investments, and there's 4 levels. He said, if you want to become wealthy, These are the 4. The number 1 is invest in your mindset. Number 2 is invest in your skills. Whatever you do, to earn your income, invest in that skill, get better and better at it, become a real expert, hone your craft. The third one is invest in your business. Whether you own a business or you work for someone, invest in that business, that you're better at that and understand that better. And last was invest in assets, which whether it's shares or property or whatever it is for you. He said people who invest in assets first, but don't invest in their mindset, make poor decisions. And it makes absolute sense. I did. I've made wrong property decisions before I met Mike, before I studied Think and Grow Rich, before I understood research in the property market. I made a bad decision. The property I actually sold for a loss years ago when I first moved to this country. So that's the order. Invest in your mindset, then your skills, then your business, and then your assets. And if you do it in that order, you will make very good financial decisions and you will grow your wealth. So I'm just sharing that with you because money is a mindset. The book tells you it's the mind. In every chapter just about, it says it's the mind, how the mind, everything, every chapter is something to do with the mind. So Think and Grow Rich is all that thinking, changing the mind and the mindset. So again, how to get rich, know what you want, clarity. Again, how do you use your mind to get clarity? Have a definite purpose, using your mind again, knowing what it is that you want and why you want it. This is massively important. Keep good company. The book actually says to you, don't tell people your big goal or your plans. Don't. Keep it to yourself. That energy is contained within. It's more potent. And if you do want to share it with people, share it in a mastermind group, because mastermind is actually a principle in the book. It's one of the 13 principles is mastermind. So tell your mastermind because they will help you achieve your goal. Then eliminate all negative thoughts and all negative speech. We know this, even in silver, we say cancel, cancel in a positive statement. Continuous reconditioning and reprogramming of yourself. That's what auto-suggestion is. Auto-suggestion is a chapter in the book. It's reconditioning our mind, impressing our subconscious continuously with the goal that we want, believing we have it already. I know we know these things. Many of you will say, I know this. I've heard it before. I know. My friends, there's a difference between knowing and doing. The biggest gap in the world is that between which we know and that we do. So even though it says it here, what are we doing every day to reprogram? Do you visualize every day? Do you use affirmations every day? Do you write your goals? It's these simple things that every personal development person talks about. And here I am repeating stuff. It's not anything new. It's just about the application. That may be something that might be new for some of us. And then there it is, repetition and emotion. And this can come from visualizing or affirmations with emotion. And that's in the book as well. There's this, you must take these 6 steps and repeat a certain statement that you've written on how you're going to acquire this that you want, whatever the goal is, and say it with emotion. And that repetition over time will reprogram the subconscious. Once the subconscious has got the program, it's automatic. You will achieve the goal. That's just how it is. And then study, learn, and practice the 13 principles. Not read the book, study the book and practice the principles. Again, engage in a mastermind. It's one of the 13 principles in the book. Even if you get your own mastermind. I'm running a mastermind on the book. It's not quite the same as the principle of the mastermind in the book, because that's when you stay in a mastermind to help yourself get where you want. But certainly being in the mastermind of the book study is an opportunity for you to get into the mastermind concept and get the power of it and the value of it for you, that you can believe in this principle and understand for yourself the value of it. And then you can continue. And then, of course, practice over and over again, all the principles, a bit more in your life. So we integrate a little bit at a time, because no one integrates a whole lot of change at once, no one. And then, again, continuously study, think, and grow rich over and over until the philosophy becomes a habit with you. And those are the words out of the book, must become a habit. So basically, it's a lifelong quest. And I can understand why Bob Proctor, someone like him, said he read the book every day, because you never stop learning. So there's the quote that I absolutely love. So share that with younger people that you interact with, good for them. And then just this other one about this mastermind. He said it gave him 3 things: dissecting an awesome book, a group of thinkers with a similar mindset and amazing insights. And as a result, you get something priceless for your personal development. So that's from Tanvir, who has done the mastermind definitely 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. And lastly, Robert, the highlight was goal setting and persistence to carry out all of the tasks to hit your goal. This first line is massive. The value for someone to go from where they were to setting their goals and persisting so they hit their goals is invaluable. I said I'd recommend the class to anyone who wants to achieve personal, business, or spiritual success. As I said, Think and Grow Rich is actually a spiritual book that, as a consequence, will give you financial riches. It's a life changer. If you truly believe in what you're doing, it could lead to unlimited growth and both personal and business success. For me personally, it was of huge value. So that's really nice. And then just what the 13 principles, these are just some of them, not all of them. But the one thing you get is how to overcome failure. And you only can overcome failure if you can conquer fear. If you can't conquer fear, you can't conquer failure. Many personal development books repeat the same thing. And if you think about how much fear we do have in our lives, I mean, I know for myself, I have to continuously be aware of my own fears and how to conquer it. And then how to increase your self-confidence. That's in the chapter on faith. There's actually a self-confidence formula. Auto-suggestion is that thing of impressing the subconscious mind. This is one of my favorite chapters. It's probably the shortest one in the book, but for me, one of the most powerful. This is actually how you go from where you are to creating anything of enormous value in your life. It's through the ideas you get through intuition, hunches, sixth sense. It's this one, extremely powerful. And how Napoleon Hill wrote about this in 1938 is astounding. The guy was so ahead of his time. Then obviously organized planning, specialized knowledge, 2 great chapters as well. So in summary, transform your life by this is what the book can do for you. Identifying negative thought patterns and for yourself. Uncovering negative self-limiting beliefs. If you want to know where you have a self-limiting belief, because they're all in the subconscious mind, you're not aware of them, this is how you can know. If there's anything in your life that you want and don't yet have, and you've wanted it for a while and don't yet have it, right there is some limiting belief. Being around like-minded people, like in a mastermind, is very powerful in helping you transform your mind, your habits, your thoughts, the way you speak even. And of course, transform your life by overcoming your fears, because that's what holds us all back. It's the fear. And then with awareness, managing your mind. So part of the challenge is that we give our power away. That's to anything when we fail. Any fears, giving our power away. So we can blame our environment, we can blame other people, we can blame difficult events for all the lack of our success if we have that. But when we realize that we actually have the power to create anything we want, our own reality, when we know that and own that and take responsibility there, then we take that control back. And that's when we really can create whatever it is in our mind. And remember, it starts with our mindset. So first, I have to say it. Please hear me. First, spiritual richness. The book actually says there is no point in having material richness if you are spiritually void. If you lacked spiritually, there's no point in having material riches. You will still not be happy. Your life won't be successful. You won't have great relationships. You won't have joy and fulfillment. So yes, first spiritual richness, then monetary richness and material richness, of course. So I must say spiritual and Think and Grow Rich. I love when people, I don't do it in the mastermind, say to me, this is actually quite a spiritual book. Definitely not on chapter 1. I can say that. Maybe a little bit on chapter 2. But from chapter 3, it starts warming up. And as you get towards the back end of the book, absolutely you can see it's about really developing faith in infinite intelligence, some higher power in your life that's got all the answers for you and everything that needs to bring what it is that you want together. So that's the lesson. I hope that was valuable and you enjoyed that. Anyone enjoy that tonight? Just raise your hand or write a comment that was helpful at all. On that note, as I said, I am running a mastermind. We've sold a few tickets already. We're only taking 10 people. It's an 8-week study together on this amazing book of Think and Grow Rich. It will be via Zoom. The price is $5.99. There is an early bird of $4.99, and I don't know why the date it ends is not on the screen. Let me just jump onto my app. Sorry, into my website. So if anyone wants to join that, and then if anyone would like to join the silver method in May is the 11th to the 14th, and it's going to be at Wright Parramatta Golf Course, which is a stunning venue, all looking over the green, really, really nice. So if anyone would like to join that. So, I can't see it. There's 6 tickets left for Think and Grow Rich. At the early bird price that's still on. I am not certain, but I think it ends on the 10th, but there's another event, so I'm not too sure if it's this one. Let me just quickly send a text. Does DAG? Oh. Sorry, guys. Okay. I'll find out. I need to know. And then, if anybody's interested in Love Yourself, Heal Your Life, it's Louise Hayes Transformational Workshop. It's coming up in March. Sorry, this one is sold out. So sorry. That's the end of that. There's another one coming up that is wrong. I do apologize. It's in August. Sorry. Let me just go there. Tenth and 11th of August. And we also have the early bird price on at the moment. Sorry, apologies for that. I'll just slot this slide in. So those are the events coming up. And then there's a free webinar if anybody wants coming up this week on the 8th of March, which is navigating the property market with confidence. Whether you're interested in buying investment property or not, but you're interested in the property market or investments that you do have, and whether you should keep them or release them, sell them, get rid of them, offload them, whatever it is, please join. I'm sharing the research. It's a market research update on the whole property market, and especially with regards to the rising interest rates and what's happening in the market. So if anyone's unsure, if they're thinking about it or want to pull out or whatever it is, then please join this. You can get the events. The event, you'll find it on Eventbrite and get the registration there to join. All right, are there any questions before we do our guided meditation from anyone? Any questions at all? Ah, thank you. Kirsty's going to join the mastermind. That will be wonderful. Excellent. When does the early bird and Think and Grow Rich end? Yeah. Just trying to get Nancy to look. She said, I'm not sure. I can't see it on the website, which is odd. Okay. Are there any questions from anyone? Otherwise, we're going to jump into our meditation.
Yeah, just wanted to know, Janine, do you do the Heal Your Life on Zoom?
No, you can't. It's not a workshop that you can do on Zoom, unfortunately. It does need to be in the room. There's just the format of the exercises has to be face to face. Yeah. It's a very, very powerful workshop. Really changed my life. I did it for the first time in October, and I had some amazing breakthroughs that continued post the event.
And whereabouts are you? Sydney, aren't you? New
Yes.
South
Wales. Yeah.
Janine, my connection was lost. What time is the 8th of March property event?
At 8 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't actually know. I'll put it onto the website. Nancy's trying to have a look. I do apologize. It's strange that I don't know when the early bird ends. She said that she'll text me. We have to go into the back end of the website. We had some issue with the website Monday. The whole website crashed. I don't know if anyone was aware. And it took us about 3 hours, and we had to get it back up again. All right, but we will tell you, and we'll type it in. It'll be typed in, but it won't. It's gonna only. It'll expire. I've got a feeling it's this week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but I think it's this week. All right. So if you do want to do Think and Grow Rich, there's the opportunity. I'd love to have you. It's a wonderful mastermind. I promise you, you'll get great value. And there's a lot of bonus videos that you get, and they are bonus content, not from this book, but from other authors completely. And it's all about understanding the conscious and subconscious mind. If anyone's seen me teach the stick man, with the conscious and subconscious mind, how it drives your behavior, what it means to be stuck, and why we don't take action, everything to do with that are in the bonus video. So really good education for yourself. All right. Please grab a pen and paper. We're going to meditate now. Just have a short meditation. I'm going to ask you some questions just to help you for your own life and direction. And then, here's the answer. March 10, the early bird on Think and Grow Rich ends. So we'll put that onto the website. And it'll be printed on the website ticket section as well. Okay. So grab a pen and paper. Thank you very much to everyone who said thank you. And let's begin. I'm just going to put on some music. So close your eyes. Have a pen and paper in your hands. At the end, I'll ask you some questions. Otherwise, just follow the guidance if it's your first time. There's nothing to do now. Just relax. Make yourself comfortable. Take a nice, slow, deep belly breath. And as you exhale, just release any tension and pressure from the top of your head, flowing all the way down your entire body to your feet. Relax your face, your shoulders. Take a deep breath in, relax your chest and abdomen, all the way down your legs to your feet. Continue to breathe deeply, slowly and rhythmically, and relax. Now I'd like you to create in your mind your own ideal place of relaxation. It can be a place that you've actually been or a place that you imagine, as long as it's a place where you feel totally relaxed. It's very peaceful, very tranquil, not much is moving, and you feel calm in your relaxation place. And just enjoy it right now. Just experience that nice relaxing place. And now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. And this light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of white light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under the white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. It is clearing away all the stress and the clutter and the tension of not just this day or this past week or month, but your entire lifetime. And as this light clears your energy field, just notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this beautiful healing white light. Now take a deep breath, and as you relax, repeat mentally after me these beneficial statements. In your mind, just repeat. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statement is for your better health. Keep in mind that I will occasionally be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine that this white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All the hurts you felt, all the pain you felt, the angry moments, just allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are calm, you are centered, and your mind is clear and focused. You are in the flow of love and universal energy. Now that you've reset your body and mind for the month ahead, it is now time to set your intention for the month ahead. So I'd like you to now just relax. I'm going to count back from 10 to 1. When we reach the count of 1, just trust that you will have tuned in to your own inner wisdom, your own higher self. That part of you that when you tuned in guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned in to your inner wisdom, your intuition, or your higher self, that part of you that guides you and knows what is best for you. And whilst you're in this relaxed state, I'm going to ask you 3 or 4 questions. Write down your first impressions without analyzing anything or judging anything, just a few first impressions. First things that come to mind. The first question: what do I need to focus on for the month ahead? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. What do I need to focus on for the month ahead? And then when you're done, close your eyes, take a nice relaxing breath and enter your meditation again. The next question: what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Just trust your intuition. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? And then relax, take a breath. The next question is: what do I need to let go of? Write down whatever comes to mind. And the last question is there anything else? Is there anything else I need to know? Is there anything else I need to do? Is there anything else? And then take a nice deep breath. As you exhale, just relax. Slowly bring your attention to your body. Wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes. I'll count from 1 to 3. At the count of 3, you'll open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. Feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. Feeling better than before. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for your time and attendance. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me now. Otherwise, say goodnight. You may leave the webinar. And I just want to say thank you again. I really, really appreciate everybody being here. It was a great turnout. So thank you so much. I hope you had a good meditation and I hope you got some good answers for yourself. Remember, always trust the answers you get when you're in a meditative state because they come from your intuition. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Kay, Laura, hi, Laura. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Trish, Karen, Navid, Vicky, Zian. Thank you, everyone. Anisha, Kirsty, Trish, everyone. Thank you so much. Natasha, Amanda, Karen, thank you. Thank you, Sam, Charmaine. Thank you, Jan, Caroline. Hi, Caroline. Nice to see you. Thank you, Dee and Paul. If I left anyone out, I do apologize, but thank you all to every one of you. Have a lovely week. Have a lovely month ahead and see you next month. Thank you.